Welcome to Kinky Knots Cafe, Proactive is the Way, where we provide you tools and resources to enhance your mind, body, and spirit. Get ready, folks. Let us nurture you from the inside out. Hello there, my friends. We are back to check in and chat about our phase within the 48 laws of power. Before we begin, I would like to dedicate this episode today to one of my closest friends in college, Aki Dabi Tomorrow Parks. Yesterday, my dear friend was laid to rest. I was so traumatized by this death, as it happened so suddenly to someone so young, vibrant, and full of life. The week before learning about her death, I had wanted to give her a call to go out and visit her in North Carolina, where she moved all by herself, loved it, and was thriving. I thought it would be a great move for my children and I as well, because we have been so transient, and I just wanted our own place to call home. Only to find out that she had passed due to a tragic car accident. What a turn of events. Aki was such a cherished soul, constantly smiling, a devoted Christian, auntie with a capital T, a devoted sister, and sister friend. I recall when I became severely ill while living in New York City, and without delay, Aki came to my bedside at the hospital to get my daughter and took care of her for a few days. She was one out of two friends who stayed in touch with me during a very, very difficult period within my life. She understood what I was going through, and while she may have judged me or questioned my newfound beliefs, she never condemned me. And for her friendship, tolerance, and love, I am forever indebted to her. And while I am devastated that I will never get to share with her how thankful I was for her friendship, have that conversation with her about moving closer to her, or hear that boisterous laughter from my friend again, I am happy that she chose to live life well and lived it to the fullest. I am also happy and very fortunate that I get to see her smile every single day within my daughter, as my daughter, Aja, favors Aki. No goodbyes, girl. All right, so let's get into it. By now, you should have completed up to chapter 19. And let me ask you, how many of you, once you get started, find it hard to put this book down? I don't know about you, but this book is really good. I have shared this before about Robert's style, but he does an amazing job of keeping your attention with the stories he delved up to create and support his interpretations of the law. This structure really allows you to understand what inspired him to create this law, why it exists and its importance, and how to be more aware of its existence and best to leverage it. With this piece of literature, I was hoping to find information that will lean on the side of positive growth and development, but depending on how you define positive, from my perspective, it has been difficult to pull out laws that I find positively impactful and serving for the greater good. I found it to be self-serving and designed for those who are egotistical, power hungry, and will do the most to position themselves in a favorable light, or to ultimately succeed at getting that which they most desire at any cost that is possible. Nonetheless, I have to thank you, Robert, because while I have never fancied this type of lifestyle, and I cannot say that I have knowingly acted in a respective manner that is self-serving in an attempt to get over and destroy, perhaps to protect and set boundaries, I am appreciative that you have enlightened me to what can exist as it relates to the psychology and actions of men and women. The reality is that in order for us to understand the mind of individuals, we have to possess a bit of understanding through information gathering and even at times emulation to fully know how to deal and properly manage these type of people. If you look at the greatest psychologists, ethical hackers, or even with diseases within the world, you have to possess a little bit of it within to know how to fight or ward off its constant invasion. So today, I am going to focus on a law that really caught me off guard and stirred my spirit in a way that had me moving through all the phases of trauma into getting me to where I am today, recovery. Law 15. Crush your enemy totally. Disturbed, disheartened, and in denial are emotions that I endured when I read about this law. Robert begins by sharing that all great leaders since Moses, since God, have known that a feared enemy must be crushed completely. If one ember is left alight, no matter how dimly it smolders, a fire will eventually break out. More is lost through stopping halfway than through total annihilation. The enemy will recover and will seek revenge. Crush him, not only in body, but in spirit. Now, I understand the patterns of hate and destruction that keep resurfacing within our world today. Last week, I shared that what is the purpose of researching and educating each other about our history if we choose to repeat it and do not learn from its teachings? The reality is that we are the creators of law. Matter of fact, to even have the law in the first place, we are the instigators of the law. Very similar to capitalism. In order to have a thriving economy, we must create a mess or permit a certain level of insubordination in order to find a solution. In our world today, most laws are designed to protect and set boundaries. But I found that this law was more designed to play on one's fear, insecurities, and incite a constant replay of living in the past, thus preventing growth and development. I just could not believe that in our world today we would establish such a law as a way to move forward without leveraging a level of discernment and judicious control about the impact of establishing such a law and have the nerve to give a blueprint to enact the law. Boy, this is so concerning, especially since we live in a world that was built on hardships in which we had to endure from, such as war, slavery, betrayal, racism, inequity, and lies. As I transitioned into stage 2, I started walking through my own life, trying to identify patterns in which I saw in others and even myself in exuding this law. Now, in my pre-wilderness days, I cannot say that I ever felt like I was affected by this law or attempted to enact this law. But during, I realized that one of my common prayers to God was, "Dear God, may that which has been done to me and my family be done unto others sevenfold." It's truly the only prayer that I pray. And while my interpretation of this prayer is to teach one a lesson of the Golden Rule, or Hammurabi's Code of Law, I realize that it could be perceived as a desire to totally annihilate my enemy. But as I see it, don't start nothing, and there won't be nothing. So I accepted that this law has contributed to shaping even how I have structured my prayers, and in some way has impacted me where it influences my day-to-day life, indirectly costing me in this world quite a bit, especially as it relates to building relationships, more specifically with those of a different ethnic background or culture. You know, I had an aha moment. I realized that it is this law that is the key reason why in the U.S. and even around the world we struggle with overcoming racism. It is fully understood by many that we live in a karmic or reciprocal universe. Our universe is designed to correct the wrong and nurture that which is beneficial to the advancement of our global community. But I believe that there is a misunderstanding, and that this is the crux of the law of reciprocity, and that one cannot atone for their sins or the sins of their ancestors and change destiny. The law of reciprocity nurtures and promotes that which is most positively serving for the greater good. As a result, the more that you do in which you self-correct or promote that is enriching and positive, there will become a tipping point in which we will be able to move forward towards peace and harmony. And all that has been done in the past, while it may never be forgotten, will be forgiven. And please note, the reason to never forget is not to take revenge someday. It is so that we are bound to never repeat it. We are no longer living in the days where we are subjected to religious or ancient wars, establishing territory and creating dynasties, or living in the civil rights era with ignorance guiding our steps. We are living in democracies with developed societies in which diplomacy, negotiations, and effective communication can prevent and resolve conflicts, disputes, and economic turmoil, where it can promote cooperation and dialogue between people and nations, maintain stability in the international arena, shape and influence the world order and global governance, addressing global challenges and fostering peaceful resolutions to conflicts. We are living in a world where we can now build relationships on mutual respect and understanding. I think it's time to put down our swords and remove the armor. It's time that we dare to think and be different. different in a manner that takes a utilitarian approach, positively serving one to the other for the greater good. No longer do we need to play on each other's fears, positioning ourselves by scheming and shaming, especially that which we don't understand. We don't have to live with a scarcity mindset, with the belief that there is not enough and we must annihilate our enemy to survive and find success. My friends, dare to be different. All right, folks, that's a wrap. I hope you are enjoying the 48 Laws of Power. If you have a favorite law that resonated with you, please share your thoughts in the comments section on Instagram, Facebook, or the Podbean platform. If you are just joining us, please pick up a copy of this book on Kinky Knots Cafe's book list. Details are in the description. Join us in 2 weeks as we begin the second part of the 48 Laws of Power when we dive into Laws 20 through 35. To access all replays or learn more about Kinky Knots Cafe's Proactive is the Way, please visit www.kinkyknotscafe.com. Proactive is the way, my friends. Take good care.